Rise, Meg.
The Force will be with you.
Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another video. So if you guys remember a few weeks ago I talked about the rumour that season 3 of Mando is taking us to the planet of Mandalore. But I felt that this discussion warrants its own video, so let's talk about it today. We're going to be speaking about more news as well, but let's start with this discussion. In my own personal opinion, I think the season 2 finale really set up the tone for season 3. Obviously, Din Djarin has the Darksaber after he won it from Moff Gideon, and as we know, Bo-Katan is desperate for it. Will she fight Din or not? I think we also have to consider the possibility that Grogu might not appear till quite late in season 3, if at all. I think the season is going to focus on Mandalorian creed and tradition, and really get down to why the show is called The Mandalorian. As one or two of you have suggested in the past, the Armourer undoubtedly is going to appear, and she may even convince Din to retain the Darksaber and lead Mandalore. In light of all of this, let's take a look at why The Mandalorian Season 3 needs to visit Mandalore. So with a show with a title like The Mandalorian, the people, history and culture of Mandalorians need to be at the forefront of the series. Din Djarin isn't a Mandalorian by birth, but he was adopted into the culture as a foundling and dedicated his life to them ever since. While The Mandalorian Season 2 saw him begin to question some parts of his upbringing and finally remove his helmet, he is still loyal to the way of the Mandalorians. He's also in a brand new position of power heading into Season 3, which is why a trip to Mandalore is certainly in order. Going to the planet could also lead to the already anticipated fight between Din and Bo-Katan. It's worth pointing out that Din doesn't want the Darksaber or to be Mandalore's leader at the end of Season 2, but Bo-Katan also refuses to accept the weapon improperly. That moment in the finale made the likelihood of Din and Bo-Katan fighting skyrocket. While this battle could be done at any place in time, it would be fitting for Mandalore's new ruler to be decided on the planet itself. A trip to Mandalore and a duel to name the new ruler could also trigger flashbacks to the planet's downfall. The Mandalorian introduced the history of the Great Purge, which saw the Empire launch an assault on Mandalore, where Moff Gideon defeated Bo and claimed the Darksaber as his property. If The Mandalorian Season 3 deals with the Darksaber changing hands again, this could be the time to show how Bo-Katan lost it before. This could give the show a chance to include Mandalore multiple times in very different states. It's way too early to speculate how The Mandalorian Season 3 will play out, but we can expect the planet to play a significant role when Season 3 drops on Disney Plus next year. So I turn it over to you guys. Do you think Bo-Katan is going to fight Din? Do you think Din is going to try and lead Mandalore? Or is there a third option? I talked about this the other day, where someone could have a Mandalorian relic that's more important than the Darksaber, such as Mandalore's mask. So leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I think Bo-Katan is going to play a very significant role in Season 3, more than she did in Season 2. I also believe that Dave Filoni set up Bo-Katan's character to be somewhat dislikable compared to how we saw her in the animated series. This is because she's likely going to be Din Djarin's foe when Season 3 drops. But as I say, let's start a discussion in the comments. So now let's move on, and we're going to be talking about Jon Favreau, who is confirmed not to be involved in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We've often praised Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for saving the Star Wars franchise, and rightly so. Ever since the premiere of The Mandalorian, Star Wars fans have been very impressed by the work. But star of the Kenobi series Ewan McGregor has recently confirmed that Jon Favreau is not involved in the project. While this isn't to say that Favreau might not offer some kind of unofficial advice on the endeavour, especially considering Obi-Wan Kenobi will use the same filming techniques as The Mandalorian, these comments would seemingly refute the notion that Favreau might be taking on a more central role at Lucasfilm. So this is the quote from Ewan McGregor. "No, Deborah Chow is directing ours, and she directed 2 episodes in the first Mandalorian series," and of course he's talking about Season 1. "And she's brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to working with her," McGregor shared with Eddie Izzard when asked if Jon Favreau was behind the new TV series. While this might come as a disappointment to some, we shouldn't be too disheartened. While Jon Favreau's work in Star Wars has been absolutely phenomenal, the Kenobi series might offer a different perspective in terms of writing style. And I agree, we shouldn't just discount a show because some of our favourite directors and writers are not necessarily directly involved with them. I'm so hyped for the Kenobi series nonetheless, because I grew up on the prequels, I love Revenge of the Sith. You've heard me say this a million times, so I will spare you the antics. So let's move on to our next article. We're talking about an Ahsoka Tano-like character who's been introduced into the High Republic. So this is going to get mixed reception because I know a lot of you are not fans of the High Republic. I read Light of the Jedi on my Patreon page, and so far it's been relatively interesting. So let's see what this article states. Fan favourite Ahsoka Tano, who was voiced by Ashley Eckstein and played in live action by Rosario Dawson, has somehow managed to develop a massive following with very little backstory, at least compared with other characters in the Star Wars universe. But now Lucasfilm Publishing have introduced a character that is very similar to Ahsoka and may have shed some light on the Wayseeker legacy that Tano is carrying on, perhaps without even realising the importance of her role. And they're talking about a Jedi called Orla Jareni, I think that's how you pronounce it. Jedi Orla Jareni is a new High Republic character who factors heavily into Claudia Gray's novel Into the Dark. The new Star Wars book tells the tale of 3 Jedi who are voyaging to the Starlight Beacon that the Jedi Order is establishing in the Outer Rim territories 200 years before the events of The Phantom Menace. Orla, an Umbaran female, is uniquely different from her fellow Jedi in that she serves the light side of the Force but does not agree with the philosophies and interpretations of the Force as dictated by the Jedi Council. So very similar to Qui-Gon, very similar to Ahsoka as well. As such, Into the Dark begins as Orla Jareni is travelling to the Outer Rim to take on a new title within the Jedi Order, that of the Wayseeker. Doesn't this sound familiar? Even the white robes Jareni wears and the double-bladed white lightsaber she carries are reminiscent of Ahsoka, particularly during the time period when she was escaping the Great Jedi Purge. The concept art of Jareni also bears a resemblance to Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka. This is where I disagree, I don't really see it. But in terms of their interpretation of the Force, yeah, I can see how there's parallels to Ahsoka, and I'm sure they used her as the template for this character design. But I want to ask you guys a question. Do you follow the High Republic? Are you at all interested? I know quite a few of you are not interested in that part of the Star Wars universe, but let me know your thoughts about this new character design. Do you think they copied Ahsoka? I'll be glad to read your comments. And finally, my friends, Katie Sackhoff isn't just a Mandalorian, she's a stormtrooper as well. Katie Sackhoff has become something of an icon for geek girls everywhere. She made her mark as Kara Starbuck Thrace in Battlestar Galactica, but also had a recurring appearance in The Flash and even showed up in The Big Bang Theory. For Star Wars fans, she will always be Bo-Katan Kryze. What you might not know about Katie Sackhoff though is that she's trying to do more than retake Mandalore after Duchess Satine's death. She's also a stormtrooper. That's right, actress Katie Sackhoff is an honorary member of the 501st Legion, aka Vader's Fist. This volunteer group of Star Wars fans is 14,000 members strong and does everything from appearing in charity events to promote a love of Star Wars to fans old and new. According to the 501st official website, the Legion is an all-volunteer organisation formed for the express purpose of bringing together costume enthusiasts under a collective identity within which to operate. The Legion seeks to promote interest in Star Wars through the building and wearing of quality costumes and to facilitate the use of these costumes for Star Wars related events as well as contributions to the local community. Now, while this isn't a really serious piece of news, I just thought it was a bit of light-hearted fun to end the segment. So that is all of the news I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and please give that notification bell a good old tickle. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you all a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.